Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up this week, the Bahamas are responding to the coronavirus by limiting access to their ports. We're going to talk about some of the discounts currently available at Walt Disney World. We have more information on Disney's new private island, Lighthouse Point. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 1064 for the week of February 4th, 2020. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. Let the experts at Dreams Unlimited Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Dreams agents are committed to giving you honest and unbiased advice and helping you plan a magical vacation your family will remember for years. Visit us on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Okay, so we got our timing off? Or
No, they had a slide up there they weren't supposed to.
what was up?
Disboards.com.
Oh.
Get rid of it.
Make that flushing noise.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It's going to be one of those shows. Coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Corey Fiascanaro.
Hey there.
Julie Martin.
Hey, y'all.
Back in the production nook, associate producer, Mr. Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
And our producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
That was my fault, too. I wasn't
Yeah,
paying
really.
attention.
Oh,
They
that's
say
so nice.
everything that goes wrong is your fault.
No,
You
no.
don't have to tell us. We know that's true.
Fair enough.
So, well, welcome, folks. Hope your week is off to a good start. I have things for housekeeping, but I didn't write them down. Well, first, we need to do a plug. I haven't done a plug for Magic Candle in a while. And they just came out with a new product. They call them Magic Plugs. So they're plug-ins, and they're perfect for small spaces. They're not really for filling up a big room, but they're great for small bedrooms or bathrooms.
Bathroom's great.
And the bathroom is phenomenal. And I got Castaway Cruise, which is I really think that and Contemporary are my two absolute all-time favorite Magic Candle scents.
Yeah, I got Flying Over India plugged into my bathroom, and it is awesome. Love it there.
Okay, Craig, whatever you're playing, I can hear.
We can hear whatever you're doing back there.
Yeah, I'm deaf.
Okay. Wow. So you're just going to screw this entire show up for me, aren't you?
A little bit here and there. I wasn't listening.
Saboteur.
I apologize. I'm trying.
So it's a great new product they have out. Of course, they're candles, wax melts, fragrance oils, all that good stuff. MagicCandleCompany.com. Use code DisneyInfo. Save 15% off that. I have been burning their candles. I should be burning that now. I've been. We did the cruise line shows yesterday. I'm burning Castaway Cruise. That I don't know. I think maybe because that's really where I discovered, quote unquote, their product was on the cruise using the Castaway Cruise air freshener.
Right.
That I just every time I smell that, I'm on a cruise. So it's awesome.
Also, I want to say, too, that's something we put in the Dreams Unlimited Travel gift bags to
That's
our
right.
clients. And Pete sends everybody a personalized note.
Yes, I do. That I actually sign every single one of them by hand. Why I decided to do that, I'm not sure. But yeah, so this is for our cruise clients. When you book a cruise through Dreams Unlimited Travel, we send out a couple of weeks before you sail. You'll get in the mail this really nice gift bag, full of stuff you didn't realize you needed for your cruise. And one of the things we decided to put in there was that very air freshener for Castaway Cruise that works so well in the stateroom. So just another reason to use Dreams. Got to get the plug in there. John and I are owners in Dreams, so let's just make sure we're being upfront about that because apparently we weren't saying it enough. People didn't realize it. So, all right. So I know I had that. I had something else.
Maybe the restaurant database. Since we've been plugging that on our dining shows, we've kind of gotten an overwhelming amount of feedback of people that not only didn't know that we had something like that, but were really impressed at the information that was there.
So let me explain what that is, what we're talking about. For years now, we have had a database with virtually every table service and quick service menu at Walt Disney World entered in.
Talk about 20 years we've had that.
Has it really been that long?
It's been since Bob was here and he was maintaining it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So no-
I did it at one point.
Yeah, you did it. Now Craig's wife, Kylie, maintains that. He's not even paying attention. He's not even... We could say anything we wanted about him right now, and
But yeah, it's a great...
you'd think he'd hear his wife's name,
Wow.
and that would get him to, you know...
You
Perk up.
did it for a while.
We did. But it's a great resource because not only is it you can pull it up and see the full menu of every resort, of every restaurant, but you can also search by like a component in a meal. So let's say you're really looking for a good steak, you could do a search and find all of the steaks and all the
Yep.
restaurants.
Absolutely.
Another super cool thing, like you might not know just like off the top of your head every restaurant we did a dining review of, but if you go on that database and you're searching for a specific dish or a specific restaurant's menu, if we did a video on it, the video's hosted there too. So that takes the guessing out of the equation. If we reviewed Gico, which we did, it's right there on the database once you pull up the menu.
And since we're speaking about databases, because Corey works so hard on this over the holidays in December, we launched a resort review database. Part of how we're going to be doing our resort reviews moving forward. We'll have some of those for you probably early April. So if you head over to our, if you've been to a Disney resort in the last year, we're asking people to please go enter in your, information about your stay. Go ahead and rate everything. The way it's broken down is the way I would normally review a hotel, and we weight each area the way I weighted them when I would come up with an 8. That, if I said this hotel was an 8, there was a reason behind it. There was actually a formula behind it. It wasn't just random. And we've just replicated that formula in this. But some very interesting results emerging. We've got about 1,100 reviews in there now. And some very interesting results are, one of the things I noticed that really surprised me, because Port Orleans Riverside, always one of the most popular resorts at Walt Disney World. But if you take a look at some of these recent reviews, people are having trouble. And it's French Quarter that's getting the love right now. It's French, which really surprised, because it used to be just the opposite. You look at these reviews and you start realizing it looks like Riverside is having some housekeeping issues. So it's a great resource of information. I think everything we have on the DIS, quite frankly, is a great resource of information. But these are two areas right now we're going to talk about: the dining database and our new resort review database. So we'll have links to that in the show notes right below us on YouTube, or just head over to disunplugged.com and you can check out the show notes with links to everything we talk about in today's show. Okay, anything else in housekeeping?
I have something.
Okay.
Starting today, we've actually released some shorter episodes for Dreams Unlimited Travel, and these are focused on helping you, giving you tips for saving money for a vacation. Not necessarily on your vacation and discounts and how those works, but we invited in Dreams Unlimited Travel agents to talk about how they save money for a vacation. And it's interesting. We started today with ones from Kathy Whirling, and we've got about 5 or 6 queued up. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be releasing those.
Because Kathy has the first nickel she ever made.
She does.
I mean, she's so tight she squeaks.
Well, wait until if you watch it, and the things she does that are, I think, are
she makes her own clothes.
well, no, I mean, she has processes in place for herself for saving money, and then she has ways of then taking that money and putting it places. It's incredible. So I think it's a really cool
That's
way
awesome.
to listen to that.
I'd like to promote a Dreams Unlimited travel show. Many years ago, I understand it was 2011, which makes me feel old. Ben Imlau, Tracy Heinrich's son.
I had no idea he was here that day.
He did a show about visiting Disney World with special needs. And it was almost 10 years ago. Ben visited us the other day and did a show as an adult. So visiting Disney
Lord.
World as an adult.
Yeah,
with
well, I was
special
sick.
needs.
I was sick the day you guys were recording, so I sequestered, but I had no idea Ben was here.
I got to tell you, Ben has grown into quite an adult.
Well, he was always a great
He was.
guy.
He's just become a well-spoken adult. And I've already gotten feedback from people who have said, listen, this has helped. One young lady wrote and said, listen, this helped my marriage. We had a conversation that we haven't had before. So go watch. Ben's kind of an amazing guy.
And yeah, after that show 10 years ago, he was known as Ben from the podcast.
We actually made him a shirt to go on a
Yeah.
cruise that said Ben from the
Ben
podcast.
from the podcast. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So
Ben
yeah,
also has a blog about this.
does he?
I have no idea what it is.
Well, in the show notes for the Dream Show, Craig put a link to his blog.
Okay.
So if you want to check out the dream shows that they're talking about, youtube.com/dreamsunlimitedtravel, and you'll find these shows as well as many, many others that you guys have done over, God help.
I think we're 3 years,
3 years now.
and yeah.
So, so head over and check that out. All right. You're all emotional?
Oh no, just
You-
had an itch.
Oh.
Scratching an itch.
He's-
And yeah, I'm
He's
also,
verklempt.
also emotional.
Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, anything else? Housekeeping. No? All right, let's head over to the news.
All right, our first news story. The Bahamas limiting access to their ports, including Castaway Key, due to coronavirus. We have no slides.
He's doing it right now.
I think the show came up on them by surprise.
Today's Tuesday, right?
Maybe I misheard something. I thought we were launching with the other thing we talked about in your office.
No, we're going to... okay.
Doesn't matter.
No, we're doing that at the end.
The Bahamas have begun restricting access to their ports for guests that could have possibly been exposed to the coronavirus. For Disney Cruise Line ships, this affects both Nassau and Disney's private island, Castaway Key. From an email Disney Cruise Line is sending to guests, quote, late this evening we have become aware that the Bahamas will not allow anyone to disembark in a Bahamian port if they have been to mainland China in the past 20 days. Guests are asked to contact guest services if the restrictions applied to them. Recently, Disney Cruise Line began more rigorous screening of passengers, denying boarding to guests that have traveled from or through mainland China in the 14 days prior to the start of their cruise. Disney Cruise Line also continues to closely monitor the situation and any new restrictions or advisories and is in contact with regional and international health agencies. This isn't part of the story, but I'd also like to read one more sentence from this email that's going out and letter that's going out that I hope will put some folks' minds at ease about this. As a reminder, Disney Cruise Line employs rigorous sanitation standards and consistently receives among the highest scores on public health inspections. We also have a comprehensive plan that outlines protocols for managing this type of situation and closely follows the guidance of public health officials. For the most up-to-date information and list of everyday preventive actions you can take to avoid the spread of germs, visit the CDC's website. So I know this is scary, and I know we're all in this sort of limbo of what's happening and what's going on. I think if there's something you can trust, it's that Disney Cruise Line is going to do everything they can to prevent this from happening on their cruise ships for many reasons.
Well, we just recorded a batch of the Disney Cruise Line shows yesterday, and this is one of the things we talked about on a show that we're talking about, why we think Disney Cruise Line is better than other cruise lines. And this was one of the bullet points in that discussion was that it is not uncommon for Disney Cruise Line ships to score 100 on these CDC inspections. And even when they don't score 100, they're usually like 98 or 99. Very, very, very few cruise ships ever achieve that kind of mark. Their standards far exceed what the Center for Disease Control requires. I have been on the ships during a turnover. So that's when guests are off and before the new guests get on. And they do everything short of sandblast every surface on that ship to make sure. That's why you don't, I'm knocking wood here, this is why you don't hear lots of stories about outbreaks of norovirus on Disney Cruise Line ships. One of the things we talked about was that, and I've noticed this on all cruise lines, when you go into a dining venue on most cruise lines, there will be some hand sanitizer there. Mm-hmm. On Disney, they've got these quarterbacks with hand wipes. You're not getting in without taking one of them and wiping your hands. They will literally body block you. Hi, don't you want one of these?
I just got some information the other day that people are out buying face masks, and they're saying that that's not really going to stop the spread of it. The spread of it, you would be safer buying gloves. And the thing that we talked about this last week on the show or the week before, that washing your hands is the most effective way to stop the spread of this and for you not to get it. And the problem is people are touching things and touching their face.
Also, you need to buy the surgical face mask, not the one that everyone's buying, which is the one that prevents dust from getting into your mouth. But you need to buy the ones that are like they would wear when they do surgery or think they're basically the ones that don't look cool, and everyone's buying the ones that look cool. So, just so you know, my family is nurses. So.
Apparently, I'm not up on fashion. I didn't think they looked cool.
Well, the minute you said gloves, I'm like, oh god, I got to break out opera gloves.
The ones that are above the elbow,
Yeah.
with the buttons,
Of course.
No, the ones you used to wash dishes, the big rubber ones.
Actually, there's a huge discussion on our boards that about hand sanitizer. That actually they're now saying that antiseptic wipes are better because you are actually removing dirt as opposed to just glossing over it.
Okay, I'm about to go on a cruise with my mother in a few weeks, and now I have to put her in a bubble.
You're going to go on a Disney cruise. And
Hey,
you're gonna,
I just read something the other day that they think Shanghai and Hong Kong Disneyland might be closed for months.
Wow.
Wow.
Months.
Well,
They're
I mean,
predicting that they will be closed indefinitely.
well, the Chinese government has started to do this mandate where now employees should all work from home. So I think you're talking about...
Yeah, they halted
They're
all
trying
filming.
to stop the
so-
spread of
Right.
this virus for sure.
Right.
So, and I know there are people out there who are traveling and it's scary and stuff like that. And your agent is there to help you with this. But you can take precautions yourself. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. And one more time, wash your hands.
Okay.
All right, our next news story. Speaking of Disney Cruise Line, there's a rumor going around that Disney Cruise Line will release summer 2021 itineraries on February 24th. The Diz has received word from a well-placed source that Disney Cruise Line will be releasing their summer 2021 itineraries on Monday, February 4th, 2020.
February 24th.
February 24th, 2020.
Said February 4th, honey. That's today.
That's today.
Yeah.
That's not happening
That's
today.
not happening today, because if it is, we are in trouble.
We're already in trouble. They're releasing it when we're all away, as
Yeah.
they usually do. So what'll happen is Disney will announce these itineraries a few days before, usually the Thursday or Friday before, and then bookings begin the following week on a Monday. Platinum Platinum Castaway Club members, those who have sailed on Disney Cruise Line 10 or more times, will be able to book, and then it's followed by Gold and Silver, and then special groups like Golden Oak, DVC, D23 can book on certain days, and then finally, we expect it to be open to the general public on February 27th.
That's the Thursday, yeah.
Correct. It's very important to note that the earlier you book your cruise, the lower your price will be, since the rate increases as the ships fill up. With this release, Disney will announce dates for their Alaska cruises for 2021, along with several European itineraries, as well as itineraries for their standard sailings to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. There are also usually unexpected announcements with these releases. Last year, Disney announced 2 sailings to and from Hawaii, which sold out within days. Although we don't have exact details on the dates or itineraries just yet, we are advising that if you're interested in booking a cruise for summer of 2021, please email your Dreams Unlimited travel agent directly. They will help you get on a list so that you're one of the first ones to book. If you don't have a Dreams Unlimited travel agent and you're looking to book with Dreams Unlimited Travel, we have a special email address set up. It's future_bookings@dreamsunlimitedtravel.com, and we'll make sure you get placed with an agent who can help you. Just want to make sure that the important thing here is that, your information is there and ready to book as soon as you can. That makes it so we
See,
can
here's how it can go. You can spend 6 hours on hold trying to get this, or we can. So, because that's what ends up happening on release day. Release day is nuts. This particular release day, the ones that happen in February, March, that release for the summer of the following year, those are insane because that's when the Alaska cruises go up, the European cruises go up, And, it boggles my mind because these are not cheap cruises, but how popular they are and how well they sell. Actually, that is the day that Sean and I, along with Denny Sunderly and my mom, will be getting on to the Dream to do a 4-night cruise. And yes, we're vlogging, and yes, Mom is going to vlog from the cruise. But we're going to do what we did last year, last March when they released the summer of 2020. We did a live show talking about the kind of pricing we were seeing. Because we're getting on the cruise, Sean had the brilliant idea, because I'm like, okay, how are we going to do this? He said, let's just do it from the Welcome Center. So we're going to go out to the Welcome Center. We're going to go out live, provided that 24th is the date. This is a rumor. This isn't confirmed. But we trust this source pretty much.
I'm also going to say this. We have a second piece of information that makes me think it's going to be the 24th.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better. So provided it is the 24th, we'll be going out live around 10 a.m. Eastern Time from the Welcome Center. We're going to be talking about these itineraries and what kind of pricing we're seeing on it. And then we're going to go get on a cruise.
You think you should visit Teresa, who will be working crazy and pulling her hair out, and go stand over her and listen
Well,
to her.
you were just telling me that when she found out that we were coming out to do a live show, she's like, I've got clients. I'm like, I don't need you on the show. I don't need you. I got Sean, I got Denny.
I think you should film her working. I'd like to have that on
I should have
record
that.
for
You
a
like to
change.
have proof?
I like to have proof.
She's gonna have a little setup. She's like, just typing, got her glasses on,
With a Judy from
on the
Timeline.
phone.
Her working is going to be her sitting on hold.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
really.
Exciting television.
But
John and I are getting on a cruise the day before, and we are not vlogging.
which line are you doing?
We're going to do Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas.
You've done the harmony already.
Not done that.
Oh, this is
we did the Harmony for a preview.
We did, and I can
cruise.
tell you what day it was. We were on the Harmony for a 2-day preview cruise, Election Day 2016.
Oh, okay.
And I only know that because I know that.
So,
All right, so that'll do it for the news, actually. We have 2 stories this week.
and we want to talk about some of the discounts that are out there because I was surprised by some of them.
I think what happens is, so we're going to talk about Walt Disney World discounts for right now, but I think what happens is when these discounts are announced, there's a whole bunch of attention paid to them. So they're out there and people talk about them, people get very excited, but some of these are still ongoing, so I think it's important that we remind folks that if you're looking to travel, you can still get some good discounts.
This is something I've been mentioning to the team is that, we see this stuff every day, right? So it's common knowledge to us, but there are a lot of people that, don't see it every day, aren't following every single thing that goes up. So it is important to mention some of this stuff, more than once.
I agree. So the one that's currently out there that's getting a lot of attention that's going to end soon is they're calling it Savor Your Summer with a Tasty Kid-Sized Package. And basically it's free dining. I know, it's Disney speak.
You get to eat children.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
You get to eat children as your meal plan.
Tasty Kids.
If you're the witch from Hansel and Gretel, you're in luck.
Yeah.
And basically this is free dining for children in your party. If you got to book it by February 26, 2020, it's valid for most nights May 25th through August 28th, 2020. So this is right through summer.
This is all through summer, and this is what I want to point out. This is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this. Conventional wisdom for years has been summer is the worst time to go to Disney World. Kids are out of school, and it's its busiest. I don't think I don't have proof of this. This is anecdotal, but I don't think that's the case anymore. No. I think it's the fall now. I think the fall is the new summer. Because try finding availability in October, November, and December, and it's challenging.
Yeah.
But try finding availability in June or July or August. And so Disney knows this. Obviously, Disney doesn't release discounts. And most of the discounts you're going to talk about are running through or into the summer.
Yeah.
So this is now the fourth year that Disney has tried to boost summer business. So that's why we saw a free dining offer came out like January 1st.
Yeah, January 2nd.
So it was like, we're starting the year off with that.
Right.
So
that was a very limited promotion, and that's over. So the regular free dining promotion they put out was very few dates, and now you can't book that anymore. But the kids one is you get a free dining plan for kids 3 to 9 when you purchase a non-discounted 4-night, 4-day package.
What was that?
this is just the day.
There's
Want
some
to make
sort
sure
of
that we're not
instruction.
blocking somebody.
Yeah.
That was
Cruise ship has just docked.
The dream is now outside my house.
that's a relief, because at first I thought that was coming from me. What is happening?
Holding it in?
I was holding it in for days. All right, so while the camera's on me, 4-night, 4-day package.
To me.
It includes a room, and it has to have theme park tickets. So I want to also point this out, too, that something that's happening with Disney's discounts is they're making you put tickets on the package to get the discounts, like free dining or kids dine free. And it depends on where you book. It will determine the package, the dining package, and what becomes free.
Oh, Julie has to leave us for a moment.
I'm going to trust
Oh, wait,
Gregory to
he's-
move my van.
If only we could see that happen.
Quick, follow them outside with a hand on the camera.
Yeah, really.
My mirrors are in.
Okay.
All right, so, again, this is a good discount.
This
is
ends in like 2 days.
February 26th.
Oh, 20th. I lose February 6th.
February 26th, 2020 will be the last day you can book this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there might be another discount after that released, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
That was really fast.
I know, I'm scared.
No, it was the neighbor was actually the one who was causing more of a problem. So
Oh, yay.
Good. All right. So there's now another discount that's technically room only. So up to 20% on rooms at select Disney resorts. You have to book this by March 7th of 2020 for stays January 2nd through April 25th. Depends on your resort is what you're going to get. And then there's another one in the same line as that. Save 25% on rooms this spring and summer. Booked by February 26, 2020 for stays April 1st through September 12th.
Okay, and so I just want to highlight this. There are discounts available at Walt Disney World through September right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that broad. And usually what happens is they'll release these discounts and then there's availability issues. It's like, the discount applies to 3 rooms at French Quarter. That doesn't seem to be the case. There seems to be really good
I've got
availability.
a packet of information here that lists all the different dates and all the different resorts. It is a huge selection for these. I want to remind folks, too, that sometimes people hear room-only discount and they say, well, I can't get that because I have a package. You can apply the room discount to the room portion of your package. So if your package falls within these dates and you're not getting another discount, the room price can be reduced by 25%. It doesn't mean your package, your tickets, or your dining will be reduced, just the room portion.
And I would just like to reiterate that if you're already booked through Dreams Unlimited Travel, your agent is watching these discounts and trying to apply them to your reservation.
Right.
This was the Gift of Magic offer, too, that the 20% off one, and it came with a $30 Disney gift card. What happened with this was they opened up a whole bunch of availability.
Oh.
So agents were going back and finding this for their clients. So that's another thing with these discounts. Don't think to yourself, I've already checked and I know I'm not going to get this discount. Go back and check again.
Because they change the dates. Yep. They do change the dates.
They open up resorts. What I found out dealing with Disney is when they first release a discount and people hold those rooms go out of inventory and they don't automatically fall back into inventory under the discount. It's not an automatic thing that says, okay, Kevin didn't pay the deposit, I'm going to put that room back in. Someone has to physically put that room back into inventory under that discount. So that's why sometimes after the deposits are done and a couple weeks later, we see more inventory come back in for resorts.
Okay.
Something to keep an eye out on.
One thing, just before you move on to the next one, I just want to let
That's
people...
That's actually it. So
that's
sorry.
it. Okay. One thing I want to let people know, because I watch this like a hawk right now. Every week on the Diz, Kathy Whirling updates current, like these like last minute discounts on cruise line. Now, they are almost always Florida resident and military. So it doesn't apply to everybody. But I want to give you an example and it's not always like this, but this one was particularly like, oh my God. April 25th, 7-night Western Caribbean in a Category 5C. So that's a balcony stateroom, veranda stateroom, $1,449 per person plus taxes and fees. So you're talking about $3,000 for 2 people in a Category 5 on a 7-night Western on the Fantasy.
Yeah.
You don't see those prices. I mean, so
When is that one?
that's on April 25th.
I will be submitting some time off.
It's like, I mean, and like they have one like this isn't as good, but on March 21st, an 8-night Eastern Caribbean on the Fantasy, 8 nights. It's Category 11B, so it's an inside stateroom, but that's at $2,080 a person. But the reason I wanted to mention this is this is updated every Monday by Kathy. She's like on top of it and is always on the Diz. So if you subscribe to the Diz newsletter, you'll see it in there when it comes in. Or if you just go to the Diz and look at the updates every Monday, usually by noon, it's been added. But there's always like some good military rates too. There's a little typo there. I have to point that out to her. But like a 4-night Western military rate, March 2nd, in a Category 9C, it's an ocean view stateroom, $796 per person. So there's some, and these are good last minute deals. So
They're good last minute. You got to remember, you're going to have to pay in full when you book these.
Right.
They'll be non-refundable, so you've got to sort of commit to them. But if you can do it, it's great.
But that's why I was able to grab this this 4-night on the Dream. We got a veranda guarantee, so I wasn't using travel agent rate or anything. But I got 2 veranda staterooms for about $4,000 with that veranda with the VGT.
Did you get assigned your rooms yet?
Not yet. Which I don't. That's fine. Whatever.
No,
they
I'm just curious to see what you got because I'd be.
Yeah, but it's a 5. They're both. No, I'm thinking about a different cruise. And the veranda.
The veranda at least. So.
But even if it's a Navigator's veranda, I love the Navigator's verandas. The Category 7.
That April 25th date is a good price.
It's a really good price.
Of course, we're in Egypt, so.
Of course.
You can if you don't want to go to Egypt and you'd rather do that.
This is actually not my trip. I'm excited about this for someone else.
Kevin doesn't have a choice. He's going.
I'm going.
Yeah, we're paid. We're going.
This is not my. I'm not as excited about it as other people, but
About Egypt?
I'm not.
If you guys already paid for everything,
I got one word.
with
Hold on.
Egypt,
I got one word for you. Cleopatra. You get to do your Cleopatra down the Nile.
Except for one thing. I just watched Cleopatra recently with Elizabeth Taylor, and I love it. She keeps saying, Antony. So be prepared.
Yeah, if you guys already paid for everything involving Egypt and you really don't want to go, I'll take one for the team here.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You cannot switch out the passenger.
Yeah,
so you can't visit the
things
main
don't work that way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bummer.
You'd only have to come up with about $8,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of other discounts out there too that aren't Walt Disney World. I just didn't bring them all because there's so many.
Yeah, there's a great Disneyland one right now. It's 30% off out at Disneyland. I know I saw that.
Yep. There's Adventures by Disney discounts out there.
The river cruises. They're really pushing those river cruises hard this year.
Yep. 2021 river cruises up to $750 off per guest.
700,
Okay, 700.
I think. Could be wrong. And before you all write to me, I'm excited that John wants to go to Egypt. I'm excited for that reason. It wasn't on my bucket list. It was on his.
It's absolutely on my bucket list.
I think he told me that the day we met.
However, you did find out that the hotel we're staying in has a Louis Vuitton.
I did not find that out. It is the first hotel on the Egypt trip is a Ritz-Carlton. So.
Okay, this is going off the rails now.
But people are going to
have our
write to me and say,
conversation.
you're not excited about going to Egypt. I am. I'm excited. I'm more excited because John's excited.
And I think you're excited because you don't have to plan this trip. I mean, like the way you've had to.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to, plus it by bringing Margaret Carey on our Egypt trip.
Make that our honeymoon. Okay. All right, that's going to do it for that. We're going to move on to rapid fire, and John, we'll start with you.
All right, here we go. New Lighthouse Point website launched by Disney Cruise Line. So Disney Cruise Line's launched an informational website with details on its plans for the southern point of Eleuthera, Lighthouse Point in the Bahamas.
Love that.
So again, this is going to be Disney's second private island. What I really think is awesome is if you guys get a chance to visit this website, check out the maps and stuff. It's really cool to see how they're going to lay out the island and the boat dock and what the beaches are going to be. It's also very cool that they pretty much have a whole strip of beach that's for locals. That they've sort of said this is a locals area. There's a sanctuary there as well, a wildlife sanctuary.
A local sanctuary.
They did. So I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see it. I'm always excited when Disney does something new to go and visit. The area is said to be completed in 2022 and 2023. So if you have a chance to get on a cruise, then that'd be a good time to do it.
Thank you. Kevin?
Back in 2016, the details of this are kind of sketchy. I tried to piece this together. They brought back the cast of the Broadway show Hamilton. Everyone who started with the show came back, and they filmed it in its entirety. It's my understanding that this film is a film of the actual Broadway show. They haven't made a movie out of it. They filmed the original cast. I understand that Lin-Manuel Miranda left the show after this was filmed, and Disney is releasing this film on October 15th. So if they waited 5 years to do this because the Broadway show is still running. It's running in Chicago, it's running in the West End, and it's touring the United States. So they felt it was a 5-year window. So if you haven't seen Hamilton, or if you want to see the original Broadway cast, it's going to be in theaters October 15th. And this came from Lin-Manuel Miranda's tweet.
2021.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
2021. So it is 5 years.
Okay.
I wonder what's the Disney connection?
That's what I was going to ask. Why is Disney releasing this?
Because
because they own everything now?
Him and Lin-Manuel, like Disney and Lin-Manuel Miranda obviously have a huge connection right now. He started with Moana and then got brought on for Mary Poppins Returns. So they are, and he's helping with the music for Little Mermaid. So they are clicking compatibly really well right now. So it makes sense. And then it doesn't matter which studio buys the rights to it, it's going to make a ton of money in the theaters because the prices for tickets to see it, they're expensive. So even if it comes around and tours around you and it doesn't sell out instantly, then you still have to fork over the money to get a ticket, which isn't affordable.
It's nice thing too is Disney will now lock this up for Disney Plus. So guess what? They'll be making money out of this for 20, 30 years to come.
Well, I'm still waiting to see our friend Nick Walker, who was starting the touring company of Hamilton. Waiting for him to go on to Broadway.
He started originally on Broadway, not in the role of Aaron Burr, but he started and then took over Burr on the touring. He actually left touring a couple months ago. He's about to become the star of a new show on Broadway. Not a brand new show, a show already there, but he's taking over a leading role. Not allowed to say what it is.
On Broadway?
Yes, he will. Very shortly, he will be back on Broadway in another show in a leading role. But so give a shout out to him, and then as well our friend Fergie, who he just surprised most people 2 weeks ago, and he's now Hercules Mulligan and James Madison in Hamilton on Broadway.
Oh, wow.
He left touring, and then they brought him back for Broadway. So if you go see him in New York, you'll see one of our good friends.
Awesome. All right, thank you, Kevin. Fiascanaro.
So Big Top Souvenirs at Magic Kingdom is closed again. If you don't know, this is the gift shop by Dumbo.
This place is cursed.
Yeah, it's pretty cursed. But this is the gift shop by Dumbo. It's the best place to buy plushies. They're going to sell all the large size. It's like the size of a small adult. or a small person. Plushies are like Lotso, Baymax, and they also have an area where you can buy sweets and baked goods. But if you remember, if you're following the news, last month they had to close because of a fire. Mm-hmm. And now, just as of about 4 or 5 days ago, it is closed again because of flooding.
So maybe next is locusts? There's like there's a biblical thing going on.
We've got
So-
water, fire, we need some earth,
All the elements.
and some air.
Next week it's going to be closed because of air, right?
Those large plushies
air
are now
conditioning.
on sale.
Yeah, really.
Lotso Huggin does no longer smell like strawberries.
It's a little musty.
We call them squishies. Instead of plushies.
Yeah.
We call them stuffies. That's what's funny. Everybody calls it something different. I mean, I grew up calling it a stuffed animal.
Right, that's what
Two
I-
words.
Stuffed animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or plush. I call it plushies. Or stuffed animals too. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. We
But
say stuffies.
we don't know when it's going to be reopened, but I think they're going over some sort of like actual refurb of the store now because it's been.
They might need to look into their wiring, first of all,
The
and their plumbing.
All right, well, thank you, Fiasco. Mrs. Martin.
Okay, so mine is about an article I read today on the Diz. So it's by Beth Seltzer, and it's 5 life lessons that kids can learn at Disney World. And so, of course, that meant something to me. So I
love
wanted to see
Beth.
what she was talking about. And I do agree with all of her points. There aren't that many. She does have 2 daughters who are now in the tween age and has been taking them since they were a year old. So I think she sort of has some good insight on this. So developing patience was the first one. And she uses waiting in line as an example. I think that's a good one. She also talks about dealing with disappointment, which I think is a really good lesson that most kids need to learn because you're not going to get everything you want in life. And it is a good lesson. So
I'm so happy I never had to learn that.
she said one of their experiences actually was a visit to the Carousel of Progress. And 3 different
Learning about
times.
disappointment.
3 different times it was not working or closed. So that's pretty disappointing, right?
But to teach you about disappointment, make you ride carousel of progress.
No. Talking about not being able to ride.
I love, hold on, before anybody starts, I love carousel of progress, okay? I was just making a joke.
So, and in order to sort of curb their disappointment, she suggested they ride another favorite ride, which they did, and then they rode something that was different for them they had never done before, which I thought was good. I don't want to give away what she said. So, and then also being independent. She had recently on a visit, the first time she let her children go solo and ride a ride was the teacups. Because she said it was a place where she could watch them in the line the whole time because she could follow along on the outside. And then she had a view of the entire teacup little course. And you could watch them. And
Wow.
then she would go to the gate where they would exit and let them. She doesn't say how old they were. But that's obviously up to each parent and child. So, and then building confidence and a love for the theater. She uses the Jedi Training Academy as an example for that. And then also Enchanted Tales with Belle, which I think are 2 really good examples of that. So, and then her last one is budgeting. So, not letting your children expect to be given
What a
everything.
Great article.
And then like giving them a certain amount of money to spend, maybe on a gift card or even in cash, whatever your choice is. But each of these things she goes into way more detail about. I didn't want to sit here and read her entire article. I already did that. You go read it. Especially if you have children, young adults, anybody that you're trying to teach some good life lessons through Disney. I think it's really great.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you highlighted that article. I actually have one I'm going to highlight in a little bit. I'm blown away by the caliber of the articles being submitted by our contributors. It's really nice for me because I'm not part of the editing process. I'm not part of the approval process. So I kind of see that stuff go up when everybody else does. And there's rarely a day where I don't click on something to read it because it catches my eye. And depending on where we are timing-wise, there's one I want to talk about when we're done that was written by Zoe Wood, who is absolutely, without a doubt, the most prolific contributor we have. She's from Australia. She's amazing. And she put up an article that I can safely say is the most viewed single page in the history of our site.
Wow.
When I tell you this article blew up the site last week when it went up, how to avoid a Disney divorce. And at first you look at that title and you think it might be clickbaity, and it really isn't, because it talks about what to do, and many of us know this, when your partner, your spouse, is not a Disney fan. And that can become a real relationship issue. So I do want to, if we have enough time, I do want to spend some time talking about that. But that's a wonderful article.
It was just posted today, so.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Rhino?
Just a shout out to Beth because she was on our backstage magic with us, and she's I enjoy her company very much, and she has written some really cool articles.
Well, I really enjoyed this, so
Yeah.
I prefer Beth Soda.
And with that, we are moving on. So in celebration of Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival, Soarin' Around the World will temporarily be replaced with the original Soarin' Over California. That begins on February 28th. This is not been given a closing date as of yet, so who knows? Maybe it could stay around past the festival. That Food and Wine Festival goes until April 21st over there. If you have not checked out the Disney California Adventure Food and Wine Festival, I always recommend it because I think they do really good job.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like all really cool, unique foods that are like it's just a lot of stuff with a twist, and it really speaks to me. Plus, the last time I rode the original Storm was in California out there, and I do like that one better than the current one.
Agreed.
Yeah, so check it out if you're out there. But
I'm so glad that they do that. Well, last time we were in California, they did that, and it was one of my favorite parts of the trip. I was so excited because I was surprised by them doing the layover again. But we were just talking on another show we were doing how much I enjoyed Soarin' Over California versus Soarin' Around the World. I feel like the screen's even calibrated better in the older film. So
yeah.
All right. Thank you, Rhino. Craigor?
Okay, mine is very quick. There's just new beer and wine options along with pricing for the Happily Ever After fireworks dessert party. And so, yeah, price increased just a little bit as it does at Disney. So if you would like to do the fireworks dessert party at Tomorrowland Terrace with beer and wine included, it's now $99 for adults and $59 for kids, up from $84 and $50 respectively. The Plaza Garden dessert party view is $79 for adults and $47 for kids, up from $69 and $41. And this one does not include beer or wine. Or then you have the after fireworks option, which is $89 for adults and $53 for kids, up from $69 and $41. But this does include beer and wine selections. And get your reservations in quickly, especially if it's during a busy time, because they will run out. It's a very popular option.
Crazy price jumps on some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the after fireworks party? You just go there and the sky's dark? Fireworks have
I believe you get to watch the fireworks,
You get to watch the
then
smoke
they heard you. Yeah.
and the crowds leave. I would pay $89 for that. For dessert and watch
Sold.
the crowd leave.
All right. Thank you, Craig. So we do have time, and I do want to talk about this article by Zoe Wood, as I was mentioning, How to Avoid a Disney Divorce. I don't know. I know Rhino. Well, Eli's a big.
Okay, so yeah, Eli was an interpreter and worked for the company that trains all of the sign language interpreters at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. He no longer works for that company, but his introduction to Disney theme parks began with once he moved to Florida. So he never had come when he was a kid, so he has a very different perspective than I do, which is a lot of the nostalgia-based things because we used to come all the time when I was younger. And so it's weird. We go through these phases. So when I first got there, he was just kind of like really not into Disney, but he has always really liked Disney Cruise Line. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you're going on to interpret for people that barely need you to interpret for a week, I would love it too. But, he was more, he just viewed it as a theme park. So he was just like, he has since is turned around on that. But yeah, when we first met, it was very like, he didn't get it, you know?
Well, I certainly had that with my ex, Walter. Walter and I were together for about 11 years. Walter was not a Disney fan. And when we bought this house, like there were discussions about like what Disney art could go up and how much. And I didn't want the house. I don't want the house loaded with Disney. I mean, it was a thing. And, you know, it's hard enough, I think, when you're a Disney fan and you're in a relationship with somebody who's not. I think it was doubly hard in my case because it's not just that I'm a Disney fan. It's my life, right?
Yeah.
It is what I do for a living. It is my life. And when I travel, it's Disney. It's all Disney, right? So I was very concerned how I was going to make that work. So I don't want to give away too much of what she has in here for the same reasons you didn't want to. People really should read this. But one of the first tips she talks about is accept who your partner is and not who you want them to be.
Yeah.
I think that's true of every relationship.
When I read it, I
Absolutely,
was like, that should be for any.
Right, absolutely. But in specific for this, and I can relate to that because it's what I had to do. So what I did was I took a look at what Walter was passionate about. Walter was passionate about gardening and flowers, nature, things like that. So I tried to find things that were Disney, in the Disney realm, but that would speak to that. So, like, I remember the first time I took him to Fort Wilderness and we stayed in a cabin. He fell in love with Fort Wilderness. He didn't want to leave Fort Wilderness, so, like, getting him to go into a park was a challenge. But, so, and the same thing was true when we did Adventures by Disney. We did Southwest. Well, it was now it's Cowboys Inc. Or
It used to be Cowboys and
Arizona
Canyons.
and Utah.
Arizona and Utah.
They've stopped with the cute
So
names.
you
Yeah.
more of the outdoorsy
But this
one
was-
rather than a.
Right, and you know what was great was that it gave all that nature stuff that he loves, but it did it in a really elegant way that I could do, and we both loved it. I've gone back and done that tour again, so it really was about trying to thread the needle and find, because you know it's the nice thing about Disney. There's Cruise Line, there's ABD, there's Alani. He loved Alani. So there are things in the Disney universe that pretty much, unless, you know, I can't think of like what somebody's interest would be that you couldn't find something at Disney that connects to it.
I'd say a big one that you could go to is dining. That seems to be the thing that Eli is obsessed with, is always going to Disney restaurants, and to the point where I'm like, good Lord, I don't want to go to Disney again. Like, I don't mean to be a jerk, but now I'm like, this is now my job again. And I'm like, please, can we pick a place down the street from the house? Do I have to drive all the way back to the park? You know, and like, I will say I was broken up with for being in the American Idol commercial. Just fun fact.
Wait, what?
I was in the American Idol experience commercial, and so I was very like, when that attraction was opening, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go when the parade comes. You know, Kelly Clarkson's going to be there, all these people. Like, obviously, I'm going to go there. You know, and it's the park I work in, and I had the opportunity to be in the commercial for, like, you know, like part of my arm or split second, whatever. But, and that was, we need to talk.
Crazy.
So it can lead to...
You're leaving out details.
Yeah.
No,
What?
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And you talk about people understanding each other. I still have an issue with the Power Ranger stuff, but yeah, I just you told that whole story, and I think it's hilarious because I was on the other end of that where it was like, this is too much for me. So
Was it the paparazzi outside your house?
Really?
right, yeah,
Was it millions of dollars you earned from the commercial?
yeah, you know, yeah, my free labor.
I read her article. I think her article is really great. We have a different scenario in that Kevin and I have the same interest in Disney, and we've also sort of matured together in our interest of Disney. So it's gone from parks to Adventures by Disney to Cruise Line and then other stuff. But I can relate to this in other things, right? Talk about this all the time, and I know people are going to get mad I bring it up. I like Star Wars. Kevin doesn't like Star Wars. Kevin likes to shop. I don't like to shop. So I think it's like for any couple, all you have to do is figure out this is what your partner likes. So I'm going to be able to do this because then they're going to indulge me in the things I want to do. It's all about compromise.
And I'm tired of being convinced that I can shop at Star Wars.
I don't understand why you don't want that Star Wars bag.
Well, I hear they're going to open a Chewy Baton. I had to. I'm sorry.
I think it's just.
The best part is
That was a dad joke. That was so good.
I want to go back just a second. We talked about Egypt before.
That's a good point.
It would not have been on my list of places that I wanted to go. There are other places that I would rather go. However, the day I met him, that's where he told me he wanted to go. So I'm very, very excited. I can be very excited for him.
Right.
I'm excited that he's getting to see something he's always wanted to do.
It would make me sad to find out that people are getting divorced or split up over someone's like of Disney being more than someone else's. This feels like an extreme, like you might have other issues,
Well,
that are not coming to the surface.
kind of to the note that you were just touching on about it relating to other aspects in life too of what people are interested in. I think the article is written very, very well in the form of a Disney fan whose significant other might not be as big of a Disney fan, but it was and you got to go check it out if you haven't checked it out. It's just really solid relationship advice that can translate really to anything. So like if you're a big comic book nerd and your spouse isn't a big comic book nerd, you go to comic book, it could relate to that. If you're
a deal breaker.
If you love Broadway and your spouse doesn't love Broadway, it could apply to really any massive fandom, at all. So
But how?
Thank God Corey's on board with my Little Pony obsession.
He's a brony. He's a brony.
So now all of us are basically in relationships with people who are Disney fans.
yeah.
Was that a deal breaker for anybody? I will tell you right now, it was a deal breaker for me. I love Walter to death. I'm not trash talking him at all. But I said after that, I needed to be with my world and my life and my job. I needed to be with somebody who could appreciate it, because the opportunities and the things we get to do and the places we get to go, I needed to be with somebody who could appreciate that.
Right.
So would that be a deal breaker for anybody?
Not for me.
Depends on how severe
neither.
it was. It depends on how severe it was. So like if somebody like actually like just really like despised it and just didn't like they just thought the films were garbage and they thought the parks were stupid and adults shouldn't be going there without a kid, like if that was their stance on it, yes.
I remember going out on a date. This was before you. So I was a big Disney fan, but I didn't do this. And went out on a couple of dates with this guy. I really liked him. And I think it was the second or third date, started talking about Disney, and he went on this 15-minute tangent about how evil Disney was and how awful Disney was. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. That's it. We're done.
That was a woman who cut my hair a couple weeks ago, and I won't go back to her. Because, I think that there's a point at which, if someone is going to have vitriol towards it, then that's different than I just don't get it the way you get it. I understand that there's a different interest level, but if someone really hates them and says they're evil and they steal and
you had gone to Disney when we first met. You had gone to Disney once and had a bad experience, but you were totally open to going back and fell in love. Once you were with somebody that could show you what the hell to do. So it's interesting.
I also think, I know you want to wrap up, but I think what Rhino says is important in that there's aspects of Disney. Yeah, really. I was listening.
American Idol is relevant.
The other thing you said, where there's aspects of Disney that you can then find common ground on, like food or shows or certain attractions or just the resort. What's the matter?
I go see Star Wars movies because you promised me popcorn and Twizzlers.
That's right. That's what it's all about. It's about compromise.
So please go check that out. It's how to avoid a Disney divorce by Zoe Wood on the Diz. And that is going to do it for our show for this week, folks. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you again next week with another episode of the Diz Unplugged. Have a great week, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes.